How hard should I be grinding movement? Should I be wave dashing an hour a day? How new are you? A year in? Then you should not be practicing wave. You should not feel like you need to practice wave dashes for an hour a day if you're a year in. The way Drug Fox told it to me in our last lesson was it's like a triangle, okay? It's the melee practice triangle. I'm gonna do it in MS Paint because people love MS Paint. So it's really simple. As it's been described to me from Drug Fox, who has helped so many top players get better, there's basically a fucking triangle and it's like a triforce, but it's not courage and wisdom and power. What it is it's playing, solo, prac, the tapes. Like the Triforce of Hyrule, there is a balance that needs to be struck between your power, your courage, and your wisdom. In fact, this is kind of like power, courage, and wisdom, right? Because this is kind of like power, this is kind of like courage, and this is kind of like wisdom. So we're gonna call it the Triforce of improvement. Listen, you can swap these if you want, whatever. I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Watching your losses is courage, but I will say that you don't even need to watch. You don't need to necessarily just watch tournament losses. You could just play Slippy against your buddies and just fucking watch. Kalindi uses this tool called Shadow Play. NVIDIA GeForce has a built-in feature called Shadow Play, where you can hit a button, it'll make a 15-second clip of the last 15 seconds that happened. So if you're playing a game, you could just hit a button on your keyboard or on your Stream Deck or whatever, and it'll make a video clip of the last 15 seconds that happened. So you can be playing Slippy, you can even be playing fucking unranked. Something happened where you're like, oh, I lost that interaction, that was kind of weird, what just happened there? Or, oh, okay, I did a combo, but I feel like I dropped the combo and it could have gone further. I kind of want to watch that moment over again. So Shadow Play actually lets you hit a button and like, you could just see that moment again. You'll get them all in a folder and then you can watch them back later and kind of take notes, right? I've seen KJH kind of use this kind of VOD review technique. I think it's extremely effective because it doesn't take that long. You distill it down to the moments you really want to like work on. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's a thing. Coming back to the whole Triforce thing, playing solo practice and tapes. I think for what it looks like is the playing Triforce is getting too much power. Ganondorf is going crazy and he's taking over Hyrule because the playing Triforce is we just spend all our fucking time just grinding on rank, right? But I think that in the perfect world, there's a balance that you strike between solo practice, playing, and the tapes, aka VOD review. And most people don't even really do VOD review or solo practice. They just grind matches, and that's fine. It's more fun, whatever, I get it. But in the ideal world, let's say you do want to get better and you do want to get off your ass and stop being lazy and actually take steps to become better concretely. Well, I think, and this is again coming from Drug Fox, I think it is helpful to know what balance works for you. And this depends from person to person. I think there are people that can definitely get away just playing. I think Mango mostly just grinds, if I'm not mistaken. But with solo practice, the idea is if there's a technique that you don't feel like you can do consistently that you want to work on, you should probably do more solo practice. If there is a matchup that you want to work on, a lot of the times you probably need to do more VOD review. I will say, I think for most people, studying the tapes tends to be the one that gets skimped out on the most. I also do think though that as a new Melee player, you probably need to do the least of this. But as a new Melee player, on the flip side, I think another part of VOD review is also watching other people's VODs, not just your own, but also just top players. And when I was new, I used to play Falco actually back in the day. Not many people know this about me. When I was a total scrub, I actually watched a lot of fucking Mango Falco and Zoo Falco. I was a huge Zoo fan back then. And when I switched to Fox, I watched a lot of Mango Fox and a lot of Silent Wolf and a lot of, I don't know, fucking like just whatever top Foxes that I felt like I could draw inspiration from. That's definitely also VOD review. And that can be more fun. That takes a little less effort because you don't have to compile your own matches and all this stuff. You could just go on YouTube and just make sure you're not like literally vegging out. Make sure you're actually sitting there and trying to absorb, like asking yourself like, oh, in this situation, I seem to always do this. Like I thought he was going to do this, but this player did this thing and it worked a lot better. Or you might notice this player is a lot better at this technique that I can go and solo practice. So there's kind of a feedback loop, right? And I think the biggest part of it is that for you, again, this all started because Jordan, and thank you SSBM Nomad for the Prime. Also thank you Jordan SSBM who asked me the question for the Prime. Jordan asked me, should I be solo practicing fucking an hour a day? Well, the answer is only if you feel like you should. If there is a technique that you feel like you suck at, that you want to get better at, then yes, you should solo practice it a lot more. But if you feel pretty confident that most of your techniques, like right now, I'm not solo practicing that much. I'm doing way more of VOD review and playing because I want to work on matchups and I just want to work on consistency. Whereas I feel like my ledge dashes are pretty good. My multi-shines are pretty good. There aren't like glaring holes in like my tech skill the way that, so right now I'm way more weighted towards this and this, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I think that for you, you need to assess what do you lack in terms of this Triforce? Like what are you not doing? I think for a lot of people it's VOD review, and then do more of that. That is how I have heard this theory passed down to me from the great Drug Fox, and that is how I am imparting it to all of you out there.